I am Supriya Raja. I am the founder of Power Reading Hub. This is actually my first live on YouTube. So, if you're a parent of the age group of having children in the age group of 8 to 11 years, that this live is for you. So, before we proceed with today's topic, I would like to just introduce myself quickly. I am a remedial instructor, a special educator, and I have worked with more than hundreds of children, helping them improve their literacy skills of reading fluency, spelling, syntax, composition skills, study strategies, and help them move from being a struggle learner to a confident learner. So today I'm just highlighting a little more about what is a remedial intervention, because that is what I do. And I receive a lot of questions from parents who come to me asking whether I do phonics classes or I do English classes, or I do tuition classes. So I just want to clear this whole misconception of what I do and what exactly is remedial intervention. So if you're a parent, please put in the comment section that I'm the parent and what is your child's age range. What's your child's age? So yes, to do with reading fluency. Is the child struggling to read? Is the child not able to spell effectively? Is your child's sentence construction a little weak? Apart from that, is your child refusing to study, making a fuss when it comes to homework? The teachers are complaining that your child's skills are lagging behind, and you are also a little worried as to how to help your child, how to motivate your child. And homework sessions are dragging from half an hour. Instead of finishing the homework in half an hour, your child is taking 2 to 3 hours to finish homework, and that is a real strain on you as a parent. So I would like you to just think for 2 minutes and mull over what is it that you are facing, because that is what is the foundation of today's life. So when it comes to remedial intervention, these are the few reasons why parents seek help from an expert. Reason number one is the child is not able to read properly. The fluency part is very poor, or the child's reading is very labored. That is, the child is spelling each word and reading. The spellings are poor. The child is not able to spell any kind of word. Sometimes the parents feel overwhelmed that how many words can I teach my child to spell? I can't teach the entire set of words in English language to help my child to spell all the words. I get it, but there are certain ways to learn any kind of word. The next is, it could be that the parent feels the child's sentence construction is weak. Suppose a child is in grade 6 or grade 5 or even 7. The problem is of composition writing or essay writing, which is very much wanted in this age range of grade 6, grade 7, even grade 5. So here the child is not able to express in writing all the thoughts and ideas. So the composition becomes very, very rigid, very, very short, and not elaborate, and not in a proper structured way. This is another reason why a parent would want to seek some expert guidance for their child, for some kind of hand holding for their child. So I would like you to even think over or mull over if this is also the case. Also, that many parents come and discuss with me that the child after COVID, because of the online classes, the child's reading became very poor, and after that the child lost interest. Maybe initially when the child started school, maybe in first standard, second standard, the child was good, but due to COVID and online classes, the interest and the speed reduced. The child's skills also became very poor. They are attributing it to the online classes during COVID. If that is also a reason in your case or your child's case, please mull over that and just reflect on that. So these are some of the reasons why parents would want to seek external help for their child, some kind of hand holding for their child. Another reason could be the teachers are also complaining in school that the child is behind than compared to other children in school. If that is again a concern for you, definitely, or many parents, definitely parents seek help for their child. Now, before we come to what is the remedial intervention, I would like to say what is not a remedial intervention. So to be very clear, Like I said, many parents come and ask me whether it is tuition, whether it's phonics class. I would like to first clarify this. Remedial intervention is not just tuition, it's a lot more deeper than that, because tuition is more about giving practice to children as to what is taught in school, which is not remedial intervention. Second thing is, parents ask me whether it's just phonics class. Yes, phonics it's a tool to be applied in specific age range. Like suppose a child is in kindergarten or grade 1 or grade 2, phonics can be applied. But if the child is in grade 6 or 7, that time it's not phonics that is used to help the child, right? So it depends on the age of the child as to what tools we need to apply. So it's not just a phonics class, it's a lot more deeper than that. Next is, remedial intervention is not just helping the child memorizing answers or just giving a lot of worksheets like practice, because parents also ask me whether you give a lot of worksheets for practice. No, it's not just about worksheets or about getting marks overnight. Like parents will say, can my child improve in 15 days, in 1 month? Can my child completely become okay, or in 3 months can he become perfectly okay? So I would like to clarify, it depends on the child, it depends on the gap. Okay, so this is not, remedial intervention is not just for quick fix, it's not about some miracles happening, it's not about some worksheets or tuitions of phonics. So now we'll come to what is a remedial intervention. Remedial intervention is something like, suppose a child is in grade 6, but the child's reading or spelling is the level of grade 2 or grade 3. You can see there is a gap, right? The child needs to be having the skills of grade 6, but instead the child is reading, spelling in grade 2 level. Now what do? That is when an intervention comes, where we start from the level of the child where he or she is, and then we kind of slowly bridge the gap between where the child is to where the child needs to be. So this is where a remedial interventionist will do. This is what a remedial interventionist will do, to bring the child, take the child from where he is to where he or she needs to be in terms of skills and the confidence. Now, because each child is different, each child is unique, a remedial interventionist will not have this concept of one size fits all, which usually comes in many of the phonics classes, many of the tuition classes, because we are looking at child-centric and child-specific issues. So what a remedial interventionist will do is, he will not just have a blanket curriculum and that every child will have to fit in kind of a concept. No, it's not like that. The interventionist will have to listen to the problem the child is facing and prepare a roadmap, a plan as to what needs to be done for that specific child to reach that specific child's objective. So you see, it's more of personalized and customized. Yes, a specialist in remedial education can take a group class, but it will be more of a micro cohort or small group, so that each child gets a kind of an individual attention. And that's what I also do in my program, in my company, Power Reading Hub, that every child gives the individual attention he or she deserves. The next thing is, a remedial interventionist will focus on the skill sets. It's not just about content. Now, it's not just about like practicing school curriculum, the same thing in the intervention class. No, it has to do with the skill sets. Now, let me explain this a little more clearer. Suppose a child is having a problem with reading fluency, or not able to write proper composition writing, or the child's spellings are very weak. The remedial interventionist, as a remedial interventionist, my job is to look at not just the problem, but why that is happening. Why the child is not able to read fluently. Why the child is not able to spell accurately. Go to the underlying problem and start solving that underlying problem. It could be the child requires to learn the right strategies on how to read. The child may need to require to learn this right spelling strategies, spelling rules to spell correctly. The child may need to learn how to frame a composition. What is the structure of an essay? A composition. What are the aspects of a good essay? The child may need to learn that. A child may need to learn how to form proper sentences, grammatically correct sentences. So that skills, those specific skills, is what a remedial interventionist will look into. If that is sorted, then the child's academic performance also improves. because now the child can read better, now the child can spell better, the child can participate better in class. So that is what the remedial interventions will help your child. Now, how can you say that your child has improved in their so-called the skills, that is in reading fluency or in spelling or composition? Number one sign is confidence. That is most important, because many parents say that, okay, my child has to become best in spelling, my child has to really solve complete problem of composition, complete problem of reading fluency. Let's not look into the extreme case of achieve the target. Let us look at it like a journey. So the first difference you will see is the child's confidence is improving. The child is now taking initiative to do homework. A child who was refusing to do homework, who was not able to finish homework in half an hour and taking 2 to 3 hours, will actually start finishing homework maybe in 45 minutes or 1 hour at the most. And then slowly that duration also reducing. So you see, this is the progress. It's like it's a journey that you will start seeing. The child's motivation to learn by self also improves. A child who needs to be like dragged to do the homework, dragged to study, will start taking initiative to study by themselves. That is what the intervention does. You will also notice that the school is now noticing, the teacher is noticing the progress. When you go for the next parent-teacher meeting, the teacher will start saying, oh, your daughter, your son who was struggling, now there's a lot of improvement. I can see that your child is participating better in class. Your child is striving to read better in class. Your child is striving to write more in class without too much of prompting, without too much of forcing. Don't you think that is a progress? Isn't it? So that is what the intervention will help. So if your child is also facing these kind of struggles and you want that kind of progress, then you will have to consider a remedial intervention. Now, as parents, what can you do to help your child at home? How can you support your child at home? Number one thing is, because these are the basic crucial skills which are the foundation for even academic success for your child, what you need to do is help your child with guided reading practice. It could be pleasure reading, like reading a story, or it could also be actually taking those words where your child is struggling with, making a list of those words, asking the child to read, and you're sitting with the child and correcting the child, which is also okay. Okay, so one is a pleasure reading and other one is a practice reading. Both will help. Now, many parents tell me, I don't have the time to sit with my child, I'm just so busy. Let me tell you, even 2 minutes to 5 minutes a day is enough to make a big difference in your child's life. Now, when it comes to your child's future, when it comes to your child's confidence, don't you think this is a small sacrifice to make on your part to sit with your child and practice? You can think over that, right? And this is something which can also secure your child's future. This will also help your child not feel lagging behind in class, not feel that I'm the only one, not able to read and other children are reading, other children are laughing at me when I'm reading. Those kind of, issues which impacts the child's self-esteem, self-confidence, that can be solved just by you sitting with the child, even if just it is for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I think that's a very small sacrifice you can make for your child's future, right? So as parent, I will definitely suggest, I say this to all the parents whose kids I am working with. Please sit with your child. Please read your child. Read along with your child. Read to your child. However, it doesn't matter. But please do this reading every day, because when the child is exposed to print, even through pleasure reading, the child's vocabulary improves, the child's reading fluency improves, the child's spelling also improves, because reading and spelling both are interconnected. Because many parents say, my child's reading, he reads well, only spelling is the problem. I only want to spoil the spelling. But many times what you see is the child is not practicing reading at home adequately. He knows how to read, but he is not practicing reading. He is not reading grade level content. That he may be like in grade 4, but he may be reading once in a while because he knows to read, right? That is not what we want. We want the child to read consistently, periodically, at least twice a week, 3 times a week, grade level content. Even if it's a storybook, it has to be grade level. Only then your child will be able to read those vocabulary words, read those content, comprehend that kind of complexity in language when he or she goes to the higher grades. So if your child is able to read, but your child is not practicing reading, your child's vocabulary will be probably say second standard or third standard level, but his actual grade is 6th or 7th standard. Then again there's a gap, and we don't want that. That is why I insist, even practicing at home. Read to your child, read with your child, guided practice. Maybe ask the child to read and you correct the reading. That is very important, that every parent, you should be participating in your child's life, even if it is for 2 minutes to 5 minutes. So I hope this video or this live is helpful for you to get pointers for your child's future. Now, what else can you do as a parent to help your child? Celebrate every small win. Suppose your child was earlier reading, struggling to read even 3-letter words. Now he's reading 3-letter words. That's good. Celebrate that. Encourage that. If your child was earlier not even wanting to read, but now is taking the initiative to read, at least struggling, striving to read those 3-letter words, that's a progress. Appreciate that. So appreciate every steps of progress. That itself will make a big difference to your child's confidence, to your child's motivation, to keep going further, to keep practicing, to keep moving ahead, to build that momentum. So this is something also as parents you can do. Other thing I have noticed is many parents come and tell me, my second child, he's struggling, but my first child, she reads so well. She's so smart, not like this one. She's very, very fast in picking up. But this child, he's slow. Please, my dear parents, do not compare your child who is struggling with the child who may be good in studies or a high achiever. We don't want that. We want even your child who is struggling to be able to achieve. I know as parents it can be frustrating to see your child struggling, and you want to focus on the ones who are doing very well in your family. But also to ensure that your child who is struggling is not feeling left behind, is not feeling judged. I would rather say, even if you want to, you feel the older one is better or the younger one is better, keep it to yourself or discuss with me in private, but not in front of your child who is struggling, right? So comparing, especially in front of the child who is struggling, is really a big mistake that many parents do, and I discourage parents from comparing children at all. Don't do this comparison thing. Okay, so now this is the main thing that I would like to talk about in terms of remedial intervention. So if you are a parent whose child may be in the age range of 8 to 11 years, because right now I'm focusing on kids in the age range of 8 to 11 years, which is like a big jump from that primary to the regimental learning in school, where the pressure in school starts increasing. So that is why I'm focusing on this age range. And you want to help your child who is struggling with either of these: reading fluency, spelling, composition writing, sentence construction, and somewhere it is impacting their school performance, then the skills is what needs to be taken care of, and that's what I do. I work with children. So I would then recommend you to come for a discovery call. I'll be putting the link to a Google form. You can fill up the form. You can also connect with me through the form, and we'll get onto a discovery call, and we'll find out what is the concern that you are having with respect to your child, and how I can support your child to overcome these kind of hurdles and reduce the learning gaps that your child is facing. So yes, until my next live, I would encourage you to keep reading to your child. Happy reading, happy parenting. And don't forget, I'll be putting the link to the Google form. Fill in the form if you want to get on a discovery call with me. Also, I have I'll be also putting the link to my other social media platform, my Facebook and my Instagram. Please check out there. Also, there's a lot of valuable content I post, and I also have a Facebook group. You may also want to consider joining my Facebook group for parents. I'll be putting all the link in the first description or the first comment. Click on those links and connect with me. So until my next live, happy parenting. Bye bye.